Have you noticed anything different compared to other trainers?
You practice what you preach. It's like literally somebody who is fishing and teaching you to fish.
How much do you think Fortune Academy has helped you in the journey of understanding the world of finances?
The fundamentals that I have learned now help, they've actually given me the fluency.
Good afternoon, everybody. And today I am back with Rahul, one of our students who's a life coach in the field of personal development and habits. He's based out of Mumbai. I've known Rahul for over 2 years now. Welcome, Rahul, to this interview.
Thanks, Pradeep. Thanks for having me. And it's a pleasure to be here.
Absolutely. So, Rahul, I know that many of the programs, whether it is personal development, whether it is finances, you have always been there. So, can you talk about your journey, your professional journey? Can you introduce yourself to the group?
Sure. So, my name is Rahul George, and I've been now in the space of personal development for close to about 2 decades. And over these last 20 years, while I have been obviously learning and training so that I can help other people, I've also been on my personal journey to improve myself, to to be more congruent with the work that I'm doing. Right. So one of the areas that has always, if I look back, over about 20 years, one area that has always been sort of like at the back of my mind has always been finances. And that was one of the reasons why I met Mani first, talked to Mani Pavitra, and of course I met you as well. It was like about little over 2 years ago. The reason why I really wanted to join your program was because learning finances and learning the fundamentals is something that's so important. But really knowing and understanding the fundamentals of finance is something that really, to me, it's a life skill. So it's not something that you're necessarily going to learn in a day. But if you look at the next 20 to 40 years of your life, learning the fundamentals and then building on this is really going to make a difference in your life.
Absolutely. I think that's a very powerful point, Rahul. Before we delve more into that, how much do you think Fortune Academy has helped you in the journey of understanding the world of finances?
Yeah, I think for me, if I work backwards and I look at, let's say, the last 2 months or so, there are a lot of elements of finance. And just to give you another perspective, I did my MBA, where obviously one part is where you learn finance, whether you want to or not. So you're taught the technicals of finance, which for a lot of us, it just went over our heads. But having said all of that, I think if I look, in reverse order, the fundamentals that I have learned now help, they've actually given me the fluency and that literacy which I knew I needed, but I kept avoiding. It's like there are certain subjects that it's like most of us don't want to do our taxes.
Yes.
Right, for all the wrong reasons. Because when you really get comfortable with finances and with the fundamentals, that really makes a difference.
I completely understand, especially when it comes to finances. A lot of people are not willing to, just look at it. They just want to shove it under the carpet, right?
Exactly.
So, how was your journey over the last 2 months from avoiding the subject to getting a hang of it right now? How has it been?
See, like I said, I'm going to look at it from the reverse, because where I am now, when I look at, there is like I have the methodology now to be able to study a company. The fact that I even can say these words and it means something more than just the words itself, for me, that's like a mindset shift. So one is to say, yes, I want to be able to understand the market. Two is to know how to do it. So for me today, I know I'm at a point where if I'm looking at financials of a company, there is a methodology to understanding what I need to be looking for and what those numbers mean, or what the graphs mean, which for most of us is like Greek and Latin. It's something that we like, okay, Baba, I don't know. I'll tell a friend of mine, here, take some money and invest. Literally, it's like gambling.
Yes.
So for me, yeah, exactly. So for me, like now when I hear about people talk about finances, there's a very different understanding, and it's not just a cerebral thing. It's not just a mental thing. It's really about a shift in belief. Of course, I'm not saying it happened overnight. I've been working hard on it, but you guys came in at the right time, and I've learned a lot of the fundamentals now, which are all starting to click.
Absolutely. And I know that you've been a very, very active student, following on the assignments, being very, very attentive in class, doing all the homeworks and assignments. So one thing I want to know is, with respect to your finances or with respect to your personal life, have you noticed anything shift within you as you are going through this financial education?
Yeah.
Whether it is your choices.
Correct. You're absolutely right. The big difference is that now money has a different meaning. Like we use these words very, very loosely, right? And money has power, money is power, and so on and so forth. But now it's literally at the core of it. I know, how I can deploy this, and it's no longer about, one of those, sort of like, sometimes people tend to get into this thing of like a get rich quick kind of a thing, right? Or we have these conversations sometimes like, I wish I could double my money.
Correct.
The point now is there is a method. I'm not saying that now I can double my money, but I'm saying there's an understanding of money now, of currency, and and again, it's not something, as you've rightly said, it's about doing the work. It's about doing the assignments. It's about doing self-study. So now studying about the history of currency, of finance, of fiat currency, and things like these things now are starting to make sense to me, right? Absolutely. And this is just the beginning. I mean, I'm sure we've all heard of other, and I'm not going to confuse matters here, but I'm saying like there's a lot of change that's happening. So this is like the perfect time to take a stance saying, okay, you know what, I am going to, put in that effort to learn, because you can literally begin to change your life right now. And that's something that I have experienced, that money is something that can be directed. It's literally energy that can be directed.
So Rahul, if there is someone who is heard of Fortune Academy, who's not very sure about joining this course that you've done, the 3-month mentorship, what would you say to them?
I would definitely say, especially when you're learning new skills, you need consistency, and you need consistent training and mentoring. And that's something that I know because I have, been part of other courses. But I can say for a fact that the rigor, as well as the frequency and the consistency, which means every week we have classes, every week and every day there are assignments. So, having that accountability as a system that has been built is really what makes the difference. And initially, if I look back 2 months ago, there's a lot of stuff happening, in my life personally as well. However, in about, I think 10 or 12 days, when I kind of jumped in and I started doing the assignments, and I could tell the difference, because then attending classes and whatever we are talking about, it's that that confusion starts to dissipate, and it may be difficult initially, but it will get easier if you, not only obviously sign up, but you follow the steps, and I've seen that, there may be students who still want to kind of do it their way, but if you follow your teacher, it becomes a lot easier, because there's a method to, how we are being directed.
Many powerful things you have shared, Rahul, though it might sound a little abstract, but very fact that, we are not letting, it used to be the case with me also. I used to search for people whom I could give money and they invested for us.
Correct.
but believe me, that's the most dangerous thing to do, because no one
True.
can manage our money better than us. Also, how by joining the course, how a few days into the course things start falling in place, your understanding of and the skill that you have developed that will, for the next 20-30 years, these are all very, very powerful personal insights that you have shared with us, and I completely 100% resonate with all of those that you're saying. So, but also with respect to the teaching style of Pavitra, have you noticed anything different compared to other trainers?
One is literally you practice what you preach. So, you know, when we are being given stocks to assess, when we are being given, you know, assignments to do, these are things that she herself has either done or is doing. You know, so it's like literally somebody who is fishing and teaching you to fish, to sort of like use that analogy, you know, kind of like expand that analogy, right? So you can feel her her care and her ferocity at the same time. Like she's like, you know, literally if people are kind of like going off, you know, the track that's been set, she will call you out. And in the same breath, she's doing it because she genuinely wants you to succeed. And here's another very important thing. You know, when you're part of the mentoring program, when she gives you assignments and you respond, she does respond.
Yes.
Which is a big, you know, it's very different than most sort of like group programs, because you know, it's sort of like those are more general. These are very, very specific. Like, and even when you're, you know, sending assignments in, if you're not following through completely, she will call you out and say, hey, you know, look at this part and like tell me why. Or, you know, there's no slacking that's allowed, which is awesome, because, you know, finances, it's not just some airy fairy thing. It's very, very concrete. So she has that, you know, that focus to keep you on track.
Yes. So if you were to give an advice, a final message to anyone considering joining Fortune Academy, what would it be, Rahul?
I would say two things: join and attend regularly. And addition one would be, you know, like follow through. Yes. So there may be, you know, life gets in the way sometimes. There may be moments, there may be times where you're not able to, you know, like say follow a certain assignment on a given day. That's fine, but still come back in and do it.
So I think that's a fair lot of information from you. Thank you for taking the time.
Thank you for watching this video.
Feel free to subscribe to our YouTube channel, social media profiles, log on to our website and join any of our courses to get started on a journey of fortune living. The description to all of which is given below.